Hey everyone, welcome to another Pathfinder adventure card game scenario. We are on scenario 6.4 over at the Hall of the Crocodile Kings. We're at this location. Add 1 die to checks that invoke the acid or poison trait. All damage dealt to you is acid damage. This scenario is set up as a siege deck scenario, so we will just be drawing cards from the siege deck, and there are 4 cards in the boon deck. We're playing with the character Alhazra, and we'll go ahead and get started. Advancing the Blessings deck. Okay, we get the Henchman. So it's a check to defeat Combat 27 or a Divine 20 check. So it says here, so she's immune to fire, mental, and poison. She's an Undead Mummy Oracle Cold. So it says she does cold damage, but she actually does acid damage. If undefeated, if defeated. Okay, so basically we just have to go ahead, so we can't add a die to this trait, or we can't add a die to this check because there's no acid or poison. So we got some options here. What do we want to do? Well, we do have the Ring of the Grasping Grave, which is awesome. Reveal this card to add 1d4 plus the scenario's adventure deck number to your check that invokes the undead trait. Okay, let's go ahead and we will reveal that. We'll roll a d4. We rolled a 3, so the adventure deck number is actually 6, so we're adding a 9 to this check. Let's go ahead and just do the divine check then. We're going to roll 2d10 for our divine, and Alhazra's divine skill is charisma plus 7. So 2d10, let's go ahead and roll this. 2d10, and we're adding a total of 9 thanks to the Ring of the Grasping Grave, and 7, so we're already rolling a 16. 16, okay, this is really sweet. Thanks to Ring of the Grasping Grave and that Blessing of Isis, we have completely defeated this character. It says, if defeated, draw a random spell that has a divine trait from the box. Okay, we are doing that. We get a cure spell. Okay, so that was the random spell. And then it says, after the encounter, bury all weapons and armors played during the encounter. Well, we didn't play any weapons or armors. Okay, well, interesting. So that boon has been defeated. We really feel pretty confident. We're going to go ahead. We're so confident, we're going to go ahead and use Maga 3 Fingers. And we're going to just discard her to do an exploration. Okay, we get the Vanth. Before you act, suffer a Scourge. Okay, so we have to go ahead and roll on the Scourge table. We're on level 6. So let's go ahead and we have to roll a d10. Alright, we rolled a 3. So it is the Curse of Vulnerability. So that is our current curse. So we suffer that. Actually, you know what? We have in our armor, the Ankhotep's armor. We'll just go ahead and use that. We can recharge this card to ignore a non-villain's bane power that happens before you act. Okay, we can just get rid of that. So now we have to go ahead and do a combat 13 check. We'll just go ahead and do a fiery glare spell on this creature. So it's d10 plus 2d4 plus we get to add 7, our divine skill. So we roll a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 7 is 16. Okay, so this creature is, or this monster is banished. The fiery glare spell, we have to roll to recharge it, and we do. We needed a 10, so that is recharged. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we will just advance we will reset our hand. Now we will advance the Blessings deck, and we get Burning Tar, Obstacle, Fire Basic, Dexterity, Acrobatics, Perception, Craft. Well, we don't have a lot of those, unfortunately. The highest, well, Alhazra's Dexterity is a D4. So there is no acid or poison on this trait. So we're just going to have to go ahead and do, oh, you know what? Fortunately, we have the Find Trap spell. And this is a barrier. Okay, very fortunate. We get to roll 3d4 for this to defeat the Burning Tar. It's a basic barrier, but even so, it's still pretty difficult for Alhazra. So she rolled a 1, and she rolled another 1, and she rolled a 2. So she rolled 2, 3, 4. Wow. So fortunately she has a Blessing of Mat. The glare is there, but she can add 3 to that roll. So she will add 3 to that roll, banish that barrier. It gets banished for the remainder of the campaign. The Find Trap spell is an auto recharge, so we'll put that at the bottom of our deck. We will recharge, or we will reset our hand. We will advance the Blessings deck. We will explore. Okay, we get Dry Quicksand, Obstacle Trap Elite, Dexterity, Acrobatics, Wisdom, Survival. Well, Alhazra has a survival skill of Wisdom plus 5. So she will go ahead and roll Wisdom plus 5. Let's see, any other shenanigans she can do here? Alright, so that's it. So just a plus 5 to this roll. So we rolled a 5 plus 5. Okay, so she did succeed at defeating the Dry Quicksand. It gets banished for the remainder of the campaign. Advancing the Blessings deck, we get the first law, which is a trigger. So, display this card next to the scenario. It is defeated while displayed after a character's combat check against a monster. That character rolls for Wisdom or Knowledge skill and adds a difficulty of the combat check. Okay, so we will just put that to the side for now. Advancing the Blessings deck, the last card in the location deck is the Carrion Golem. Okay, well we might have some shenanigans with the Carrion Golem and the first law. So this Carrion Golem, it's a Construct Golem Elite, so we can't add plus 1 die. Then we have, so it's immune to attack, mental, and poison traits. So fortunately, in our hand, we have the Staff of the Hooded Cobra. This card was just so awesome. We gained it last scenario, so obviously we held on to it. So we're going to use it. Combat check, reveal this card to use your strength or melee skill plus 1d6 plus 3, so it's 2d6. You may additionally discard this card to add another d12 plus 3 and the poison trait, but unfortunately he's immune to poison. So that really sucks. So we will just reveal this card, and we're going to go ahead and use a Blessing of Thoth to give us an extra d6, and that's it. We can't use any spells because all of our spells have the attack trait. So just revealing the Staff of the Hooded Cobra and rolling 3d6. That's still pretty tough. We get to add plus 3 to this roll. So we rolled 3, 4, so 9. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we failed by 2. So we failed by 2. Unfortunately, it says before you act, discard the top card of your deck. So we had to do that. Let's see. So we failed by 2. We don't have anything in our hand that will help out. We're going to go ahead and lose 2 spells because he's the last card in the location deck and he's immune to the attack trait. He goes back into the location deck. What we're going to do, we have, of course, that cure spell we just gained, so we might as well use it. We're going to go ahead and roll a d4. So we get to, wow, so we get to add 5 cards back into our deck. So I'm going to randomly determine which cards we shuffle. Okay, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those cards. We're going to just shuffle them in really quick. And then the cure is an auto recharge spell. So we get to automatically recharge the cure spell, which we will do. Then, what else do we want to do? We're going to toss some cards that we don't need because we know what's left in the deck. Since we failed that check, we lose the top card in the Boons deck. And there are 3 cards left in the Boons deck right now. Okay, so we reset our hand, advance the Blessings deck, and we get the Carrion Golem again. The Before You Act spell. The Before You Act, well, we are going to recharge the armor, which we just gained when we reset our hand. So now, for shenanigans, we are once again going to use our Staff. Actually, you know what? We did pull Staff of the Dark Flame, so we can add 1d6 in the fire trait. He's not immune to the fire trait. So we're going to discard Staff of the Dark Flame. we're going to roll a total of 3d6 plus 1. We don't have any blessings or anything, so it's just straight up 3d6 plus 1. Let's see what happens. So wow, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8, 9. So we rolled a 9. We're going to go ahead and recharge Maga 3 fingers. So we get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we once again, we fail by 2. So that means we have to take 2 points of damage. We're going to once again lose 2 spells because he's immune to the attack trait. Why not? We do lose the top card of the boon deck. And he goes back into the location deck. And we're going to draw our hand again. Okay, it's looking pretty good this time around. And I'll show you in just a bit. Advancing the Blessings deck. We explore and we get the Carrion Golem. So this time though, we did draw our Life Lantern. Oh, it has the attack trait. So can't use the Life Lantern. We can use our Staff of the Hood Cobra. That's our only option. And we do have a Blessing of Pharasma, which we're going to use. So we get, once again, we get to roll a total of 3d6. 3d6, where are you? 3d6, and we get to, actually Staff of the Hooded Cobra is just 2d6. Oh, we used the Blessing of Pharasma. 3d6 plus 3 due to the Staff of the Cobra. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so we once again failed that check. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We failed by 3. We're going to use this card to recharge it to reduce damage to 1. We'll go ahead and lose the Life Lantern since that's essentially useless. And now what we're going to do is he goes back. We lose the top card of the boon deck. We can only lose 1 more battle. Then we are totally messed up. So this time we're going to just toss a bunch of spells which aren't any use. We are resetting our hand. Advancing the Blessings deck. Let's see if we want to explore or if we want to discard more cards. Because, let's see, I know we have, did we already use our Blessing of Isis? See, if we still had our Blessing of Isis, the Carrion Golem has the construct trait. That would have been very useful. But as it is, let's see, what are we going to do here? As it is, you know what we're going to do? We're actually going to toss some cards. Because we're going to use this guy. We're going to reveal this card to shuffle 1d4 random cards from your discard pile into your deck. Then discard. Okay, so maybe we're going to get lucky and get that Blessing of Isis. So let me just quickly shuffle these cards. So we're going to be able to roll. We're going to be able to gain 1d4 new cards. And we rolled a 4. So we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. We're shuffling those into our deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to toss a bunch of cards because, well, we have the Cure spell. And we actually have a Cure spell in our hand. So what we're going to do, we didn't get the Blessing of Isis because it's still in our discard pile. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Cure spell. We're going to try to recharge. We get 4 cards back in our deck. So we're just going through some shenanigans to try to see if we can get that Blessing of Isis. So 4 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4 cards back into our deck. So we have lots of cards here. So shuffling cards back into our deck. Okay, well, thanks to that ally and the Cure spell, which is auto recharge, by the way, we are getting our hand primed up. Let's look at the discard pile. Okay, the discard pile shows that we were able to get that Blessing of Isis back. So what we're doing now is we're resetting our hand. We're tossing everything except for the Staff of the Hooded Cobra. And we're going to reset our hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we didn't get the Blessing of Isis. We're advancing the Blessings deck. We're not going to explore. We're going to continue to reset our hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to play it safe, but at the same time we want to win. So we're going to toss 3 cards. We're just going to toss 3 cards. Actually, we're going to toss 4 cards. We're resetting our hand. 1, 2. Hopefully, yes, we get the Blessing of Isis. Okay, a lot of shenanigans there, but now, last card in the Blessings deck. We're doing this. We're going to defeat this Carrion Golem now. We totally spent 3 turns prepping our hand, and now we're all set. This time we got our Blessing of Isis back. We can add 2 dice to this check that has a construct trait. We got our Staff of the Hooded Cobra. We're doing 2d6 plus 3. That's what we're going to do. 2d6 plus 3 plus an additional 2d6 thanks to the Blessing of Isis. Who would have thought that would have been such a key part of the success of Alhazra. And we have some other shenanigans, but I think we got it this time. 4d6 plus 3. What do we get? 5, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's right, we won by 3. But now we got to do this first law. It says here, the first law. So then we have to, so that character then rolls for wisdom or knowledge skill and adds the difficulty of the combat check. If the result is less than or equal to the result of the combat check, suffer the scourge curse of the ravenous, then banish this card. Okay, well, you know what? We'll just play it out anyway. So basically, we have to roll our wisdom skill, which is d8 plus 5. So we roll d8 plus 5. So we roll a 13. So if the result is less than or equal to the result of the combat check, well, our combat check was 17, and here we just rolled a 15. So if the result is less than or equal to the result of the combat check, so we do suffer the Scourge Curse of the Ravenous, then we banish this card. We banish this card as well. So we barely made it. We get that Scourge. Yeah, it does, like I say, no really big issue here. We get this returned to our hand. We have to discard the Blessing of Isis. We reset our hand, which was our last card, and we are good to go. We're back in business. So let's go ahead and see what our rewards were. We don't have to worry about that final curse. So the last card in the boon deck was, this really awesome Jet of Anubis. I really like this card. It says on your charisma check or your check that invokes the poison trait. Okay, it's an interesting item. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. So let's go ahead. So that was the reward for the scenario. We barely closed the Hall of the Crocodile Kings at Carrion Golem. He is fortunately an elite monster, so we are going to get to banish him for the remainder of the campaign. Thank goodness. So the question is, of course, we only got that. This is only a level 4 spell, so what we're going to do, since we really didn't gain a lot of loot, we are not going to go to a trader. So that's the state of Alhazra's deck. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully you enjoyed watching that scenario. It was kind of quirky, but it worked out. And I will have another scenario up for you shortly. Alright, thanks so much.